Good afternoon, everyone. Art has a reputation. It lives in the shadows of ambiguity, and for that reason, its usefulness is often overlooked in our schools. Students that have low access to arts education are 5 times more likely to drop out of high school. On the other hand, students with high access to full-time arts education are 3 times more likely to earn a bachelor's degree and 4 times more likely to be successful in an academic environment. Let's take a look at the conditions of arts education here in New York City. In 2014, the Comptroller's Office did a study in which they found that 1/3 of New York schools lack even one full-time arts teacher, and more than half of them are elementary schools. This is Miss Andani. She is the teacher that goes above and beyond to make her lesson plans as creative as possible for her 5th graders, as those lessons are the ones that her students respond to best. But this is also her 5th year teaching, and she is also experiencing a major burnout. Through the years, she's felt under-recognized by her superiors, uninspired by the curriculum, and unmotivated to try new methods. Ms. Andani is even considering a career change. But this is not an isolated situation. This was a shared sentiment throughout the course of my interviews with many teachers. Ms. Andani also mentioned that her efforts for creative lesson plans fall short not only because of time and resources, but due to the pressure of her school administration to focus more on Common Core standards. So I started to wonder, is there a way in which we can expose students to more art in a sustained way by involving the one person they are around the most, their teacher? In my research, I further explored why teachers are hesitant in exploring creativity and art into their daily lessons. It turns out this new generation of teachers would like to bring creativity and art to their classrooms, but they feel they lack the skills or training to lead these lessons successfully, especially since many of them have not had the advantage of art in their own education. And after the pressure from parents and staff time and time again, they also lack the confidence to even try something new. This problem is twofold: recognizing that teachers are experiencing burnout more quickly and that students go weeks without exposure to arts. I wanted to bridge the gap to help both students and teachers. I asked, what if teachers were able to integrate art into their existing lesson plans themselves? Connecting teachers with artists and creative thinkers to work on arts-integrated lesson plans together is an unconventional way to increase art in the classroom than what currently exists, and this is what I began to test. In the last 2 decades, many organizations have brought arts programs and artists to schools. The current models are based on new findings and development, and there are many approaches of using arts as a learning tool. But the delivery of these programs are often as an add-on that can be cut at any time and still does not meet the requirement for full-time arts. The proposed model suggests that using collaboration mechanisms and connecting these 2 bodies of knowledge together, they could be leveraged for the benefits of not only the students, but the teacher. This past year, a few artists, including myself, worked with teachers to help them reinvigorate their current lesson plans. In an early prototype, we met with 3 teachers to work on integrating art into a lesson of their choice. What I had hoped that would happen was that by being exposed to an artist and a new lesson, the teacher would carry that excitement over to the students. And we did have positive reactions that following week from the students. They showed great enthusiasm, were less disruptive, and were even able to share their learnings from the week before. The teachers, on the other hand, did not take full ownership. Their energy was lacking, and they were not able to lead with the confidence that I had imagined. I learned that bringing creativity and art to the classroom was going to look different depending on the teacher. The values and challenges of each teacher would play a role in determining the success of the lesson plan, not just adopting the lesson plan itself. After feedback from teachers and artists themselves, I was able to identify the following iterations: time for active participation of both the artist and the teacher. The teachers needed more guidance for collaboration, since it was a challenge to resist seeking help and the low energy that came with planning and leading. And second, the opportunity for the teacher-led dialogue about what their own challenges are and why they feel that these lesson plans fail in the first place. With this opportunity, they would be able to identify any difficulties or constraints that they may have on subjects or with their students, but also uncover the types of art they would like to teach. With these insights, a second attempt at inspiring and preparing teachers became Art Pact, a framework for collaboration among artists and teachers to fill the gap between desired arts integration and classroom practice. Art Pact supports teachers to reach across disciplines and contexts so that they may explore and influence their own teaching practice. This model supports a teacher and an artist match through personal reflection to problem solving to implementing a new lesson. For this model to be successful, there are 3 crucial steps before a teacher is able to implement the new lesson: assessment, match, and brainstorm. The exercise of self-reflection during the assessment is an important first step. Both teachers from my pilot mentioned this was something they had never been prompted to do before, reflect on their class, not just evaluate. This is an opportunity for the teachers to identify any challenges ranging from how they approach to leading a lesson plan to addressing student behavior or performance to classroom resources. For example, Sarah, a teacher from my pilot, was trying to incorporate dance in her literature class for the past 2 years, but felt unsuccessful due to many constraints like choreography, student behavior, and resources. Whereas Molly, another teacher, mentioned that her own skills were limiting her students to simply poster making, and that she didn't even know where to begin to think about incorporating other art forms. One of the discoveries that surprised me the most was the moment with each teacher that took place during the brainstorm. This moment in which the teacher trusted the process and was actually inspired by the ideas that were coming out. The brainstorm is the 3rd step and is a designated time for idea generation, which not only supports the teacher's inspiration, but that's when also the granular problem solving occurs. Not only did Sarah have a chance to talk to an experienced dancer about improving her approach, but also the ideas behind what would work best for her students. As ideas were generated, the teachers were able to see a new perspective in which they could imagine the possibilities of a new lesson, leave behind the worries and constraints, and break down their own biases of the potential of their students and themselves. The match step with the artist is based heavily on the art interests of the teacher so that they are more inclined to use these lessons that come out of the brainstorm. Because Sarah knew she wanted to explore more movement and dance in her classroom, the match was that much more productive. This was our chance to help Sarah come up with as many ideas and strategies for addressing her constraints. In Sarah's case alone, the conversation produced 12 ideas, 4 of which she felt she could actually implement over the 8 weeks of her literature unit. As a result, even small changes within the teacher or the lesson plan could improve the performance of the students. So this is how Art Pact looks in action. Art Pact is for educators looking for an opportunity to acknowledge their challenges and test something new. With encouragement and inspiration from artists and creative thinkers, the practice becomes easier to maintain. Today, more than 4 million students in the US lack access to arts education. This national crisis is especially apparent in low-income areas, where art programs are wiped out completely. If we could support and better prepare our teachers, they themselves can fill this gap. This model can be infinitely scaled. Art Pact ultimately allows ideas to develop into tools for a dynamic teaching environment. Just imagine if every teacher was able to seek out collaboration and to influence their own practice. Art Pact is a catalyst in involving art education in this nation for more successful students and teachers. Thank you.